Namaskar and welcome. It's 19th January. We are holding this today, the 20th, because of the weekend, and we wanted a a good audience and not good numbers. So thank you for joining. I just wanted to run through what we'll be talking about today. A brief introduction of what this is about, what we'll be doing today. Talk about the history of this day, why it should be commemorated, never forgotten. We'll pay homage to those who sacrificed their lives. We'll remember that day and the events that happened. We'll take experiences from our community members. If anyone wants to share, I'll talk about mine. We'll take 2 minutes of silence to remember the people who gave their lives. We are fortunate to have some guest speakers who will be kind enough to share their thoughts with us. We'll also hear from our brethren from across the ditch in New Zealand, and then we'll conclude. This is a day of honoring our community for the spirit they have shown over the last 35 years. What we went through was no less than a Holocaust. And that is the way we should remember this. So on this solemn occasion of the KP Remembrance Day, we stand together in solidarity to honor the indomitable spirit and resilience of the Kashmiri Pandit community. January 19th serves as a poignant reminder of the challenges faced, the sacrifices made, and the unwavering spirit that defines us. And this brings us to the message that we have unwittingly followed all these years. Unwittingly probably may not be the right word, but that is the word, spirit, that defines it. We embrace the power of peace, but we should never let history be forgotten. Let history be a steadfast teacher. In the face of adversity, we demonstrate a remarkable courage, preserving our cultural heritage and traditions. So today we remember and pay homage to the lives of affected. We acknowledge the profound impact on generations and past and present. As we commemorate this day, let us unite in fostering a future of inclusivity, understanding, and peace. May the memory of our struggle serve as a catalyst for renewed commitment to justice, harmony, and collective pursuit for a better tomorrow. I want to make a point here. Justice has not yet come our way. It is trickling, but it hasn't really come our way. But we'll never, ever give up. So we are not alone in this journey. Together we honor the past, embrace the present, and envision a better future for our community. We will hear from our friends on the same subject today. This day is observed as a Kashmiri Exodus Day, marking the tragic exodus of my community from their homeland. No matter how much time passes, those thoughts bring a lump to our throat. Those threatening slogans, Reliv, Galiv, Yatsaliv, was not invented that day, was not said for the first time that day. It was perhaps just rubbed in more that day, but we grew up hearing that all our lives. And we thought that this is it. This is the way we live, and this is the way of life. Yeah, Bata Chikyo Karak was the way of life. Dali Bata Chikyo Karak was the way of life. That is the way we were bullied across generations. We never knew we are being bullied, but that is the way it was. Yeah. So on this day, we remember the hardship faced by the community due to the violent insurgency that came about in 1990. These include Kashmiri Pandits living in the horrendous conditions in the refugee camps today. And this is the dark truth of our community. There are our brothers and sisters who are still languishing in camps. The camps may not be tents anymore, but those camps are horrendous living. They are camps. They have four walls and a roof, but they are camps. That is where our Kashmiri Pandit children get born. Yeah. And that is where we aspire to have leaders. We aspire to have that Kashmiri Pandit gene survive. But these are camps where we still have our brethren there. So that is hurtful. So we might lament about, the media not covering, and we might talk about, our voice is not being heard. Uh, have we shouted loud enough? Have we got the people in our community who are part of the media to listen to our message? Have they moved? Have we ever been able to convince them or change their hearts that while they got to retain their jobs being a leftist, portraying the right story, the story that happened 35 years back, has to be a part of the narrative. It never was. And we have failed in convincing them. Some of our friends in the media, I'm not saying they let us down, but what I'm saying is we have failed in encouraging them to change their view. We have to work hard on this. And this is a message that we want to give our younger generation. Can we take up the challenge of convincing these people in the media and those people who have a say on social media? And I'm sure many of our younger generation do have a say on social media. Can we make a concerted effort to have this opinion about our story better be forgotten, changed? It is strange that a person like Yasin Malik faces just one case today because one eyewitness was found out more than 35 years after the crime, 30 years after the crime. I'm ashamed. I don't even know how many years have passed. It doesn't come to my mind because I've tried to forget this, what happened with us, and which we're all in the same boat. But the strange thing is, what is being rubbed in is that he's being tried for one case, one murder, so many years after. And there are so many other people whose sacrifice was never came to light. Their murders were never, ever investigated. Therefore, we still await justice. Whilst the horrors of that day and the exodus remain etched in our minds, it is pivotal that our next generation is always aware of this. We should never forget this. This happened to us, and we just changed modes in our lives and became peaceful citizens in a distant land as refugees. We just moved on. Whilst it might be something we could be proud of, none of us picked up a gun or did something about it, but it is hurtful. What can we do? Whilst we remain peaceful, we strive to get justice for our community. Perhaps the power of this social media could help, and that is my message today. Some photos just that remind us, and these photos have been etched in our history. This lady that we see on the left-hand side there probably never was exposed to a temperature that did not require a ferret to be worn. So she's just thinking, what the hell happened? This happened in 24 hours. She was in her house, surrounded by beautiful mountains with snow on them, capped. And here she is besides a tent with no toilets and just a tent. And that is the only asset she has. 24 hours. These pictures are really soul breaking, no matter how much time passes. This is what our community went through. No words to describe. Let's remember them briefly because there's short paucity of time. So we'll just
ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावतीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावतीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावतीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः
let's just stand in silence for about 2 minutes to remember what happened that day. I'll start the clock now. Thank you, everyone. We have been lucky for some friends and well-wishers who have joined us today. We have Sai Parvastavji from the Hindu Council. I have known Sai Ji as a volunteer, as a very polished person, whose dedication, reflects from the way he goes about doing those those voluntary things, whether those be um, organizing or revitalizing those events like the padyatras between temples in Sydney, or when we do our yagnas or havans, his presence will always be a permanent event. So I would like Saiji to share his views today on this occasion. Saiji, could you please join in? Saiji, you're there? Can you hear me? I think we are having some technology issues. So let us, in the meantime, we have Urvashi ji. She's from our community. Though she is an architect by training and profession, she has joined, she is under at the moment writing a thesis, a PhD on the Kashmiri Pandit issue. It might be a moment of self-actualization for her to have walked this path, but for us, it might be that the research findings, whatever she publishes, might become a reference point for us. Therefore, the work that she is doing is really valuable for our community. When someone reads about us in coming years, this might be a point where this research that she publishes soon becomes a point of discussion, and that's where the clock might start again. Thank you, Urvashi ji, for your time today. Could you please join in?
Am I audible?
Yep.
Thank you, Sudhir ji, for giving me an opportunity. And I can just briefly discuss what my research is and my motivation behind the research, I think. I was born, of course, Kashmiri Pandit. I was around 14, 1990 mein jab when Kashmir just erupted, it exploded. Of course, we all know kya stories rahi usse pehle ki, uske baad ki, beech ki, but it was in just one night, life changed for all of us in so many different ways, not just, losing a home over a period of time and over years made me realize कि हमने क्या क्या खोया है, किस हद तक खोया है, और वो घर जो हम बात करते हैं, घर क्या होता है. I tried to question these things in so many ways because the questions kept coming to me as well, and I tried to make sense of what is going on with us. The first question which came to me was when my grandfather came from Srinagar. हम लोग पहले ही निकल आए थे, पहले as in 19th को निकले, वो March में कभी आए, और the minute he came to the place where we had rented out, he opened the door and he almost, उन्होंने अपना फेरन ऐसे उठाया in front of my dad and told him के medite sharaniyet, and then he kept on crying, saying mero panun or. And to a girl of 14, it just didn't make sense. It just didn't make sense कि हुआ क्या है हमारे साथ. And I don't think at that age you can even comprehend, but things keep settling in your mind, and that is one instance. And so many other instances. I went to a camp school. मुट्ठी में जो camp था, वहाँ school था, और मुझे वहाँ जाना पड़ा था, and I just didn't understand what is going on with our lives. ऐसा क्यों हुआ हमारे साथ? What did we do to deserve something like this? And you hear people talking about it because नई migrations हुई थी, and जम्मू में लोग बातें करते थे कि क्या हुआ, अरे ये लोग भाग गए और ये सब. I just didn't understand. हम सच में भाग गए क्या? There was to be a sense of guilt sometimes in me that did we really leave? Like we just fled? Is this really us? हम क्यों छोड़ गए? And then you understand कि क्या था वो, क्या हुआ हमारे साथ. हम nobody leaves home. आप घर छोड़ के नहीं जाते हो ना ऐसे ही. और एक पूरी मास माइग्रेशन हुई थी. हम लोग अपना घर ऐसे ही नहीं छोड़ते हैं. It's later on I had a question when my aunt, she passed away a few years back of dementia. हमने कभी नहीं सुना था dementia, Alzheimer's, ये सब. When I went to meet her, she told me, "Talidar khol, please open the window." And she's like, "Mesan chubasam bahar chuam." And then she starts singing, well, it's your birth. We'll sing a song, and she starts singing, Vesye Gulan Amid Bahar Sal Antam Balyar. And then she starts crying. She's a lady who has dementia, and she's crying with this song. And all these questions kept coming to me, understanding the notion of home for a Kashmiri Pandit, or somebody who is forced to leave their own hearth, their own place. And when she passed away, apart from her own kith and kin, और कोई नहीं था. So many people like us, so many people like her, my own father, he passed away without people around him. And I think that they never deserved it. हमारे यहाँ अगर कोई ऐसा फंक्शन होता था श्रीनगर में, कश्मीर में, पूरा मोहल्ला होता था. शादी किसी की होती थी, घर अपना छोड़ते थे लोग, राइट? सो घर के मायने में ढूंढना चाहती थी, समझना चाहती थी. आई वांटेड टू अंडरस्टैंड द नोशन ऑफ होम फ्रॉम द eyes, from the minds of a child, from the minds of those who left us crying for home, those who left us in that sense that they had gone through a tremendous loss. So my journey, PhD journey started, ye sare questions mere man mein the, and I used to ask people, I used to ask my friends, family, what do you think of all these? Aapko kuch lagta hai kya? And they used to say, Shwengoma depression, depression, you don't talk about all this. We have moved on. I think we have moved on gracefully. As a community, we moved with grace. But I feel, yes, it is done, but it should never be dusted. हमको बहुत कुछ करना है, so that not even a single generation who is going to come will ever forget what happened to us. We have to leave each and every testimonial behind us for our future generations to come, trying to make them understand, to know their place, because sometimes it's a blessing, but at the same time it's a pain, because you've seen all of this, but हमारे जो आने वाली generations हैं, हमारे अभी के generations, उनको नहीं पता है हम कहाँ से हैं. What does that even mean to be from the land of Sharda? Unless and until you put your foot on that land, आपको वो vibrations नहीं समझ आएंगी. And that is what happens. That is my research is about, losing a home, losing your place, because the minute you lose a place, you lose a sense of identity. आपका जो वजूद होता है वो आपके अपनों से होता है. आपका जो वजूद होता है वो आपके घर, आपके जगह से होता है. Your identity is framed by these notions, right? And the minute a place and a home breaks, you're scattered, things are scattered. So that's why it's very important. At least I felt that is, I want to leave behind something which will push our generations to want to know who we were, what made us, and what we made us is there in Kashmir. So I hope and I pray that I do some work where I put together our experiences in such a way that everyone, not only Kashmiri Pandit children, but Kashmiris, everyone else is compelled to know and understand who we are, what we went through, and our resilience. And never forget. We will not let you forget is something in a subtle way. We're not a community where we want to shout and cry. We've never been like that. That's in some way, sometimes a blessing, sometimes not a blessing. But we're not people who just want to go out and shout out. We have done it in different ways, and we want to continue doing that. And that's where I feel hum sab agar in smaller ways contribute to this repository of our stories, it will be in some way a reference point at some point for everyone to come to. I just want to because to remember my own aunt who's a beautiful singer and who passed away. Just thinking about her Kashmir, about her home, she sang this song, and I just want to just say one line of that song. It's the same song, Vesiye Gulan Amid Bahar. It's about the spring in Kashmir. Vesiye Gulan Amid Bahar as saal Antan baliyar balbale anunnas lal saraz sal antan baliyar. Thank you.
Thank you, Urvashiji. Many things happened. Whatever you just said, I'm sure each one of us traveled back in time, swam across those shores, those rivers, those houses, those settlements we used to call our homeland, those fields, those saffron, that greenery, and those mountains that you would always see had snow on them. And this has been happening with each one of us. Urvashiji, I had a question. You explained what the way you used to think and the questions you used to ask and what people thought about you and the way they responded to your thoughts and your questions, which was normal, and I sort of related to those questions. What I wanted to know was, we as a community we think 1,000 times about every investment we make, small. You have made a huge investment of time into this effort that you are putting in. What was it that triggered? What was there an event, or was there a thought, an epiphany, or something that happened that made you decide on investing into this journey, into this effort that you're putting in? I mean, I'm welcoming this thing. I'm really, and I can promise you, whatever support we can give as a community, we should always do that. But what was it that inside your heart made you walk this path? One particular event, if there is any.
We went to Kashmir after 26 years, almost a few years back, with my father, with my family, and my sister. हम लोग श्रीनगर गए, थोड़ा सा इधर उधर घूमे, but the idea was that we wanted to go home, and
Can understand.
I'm sorry. Okay, so but my dad said, I don't want to go. And so we kept pestering him because my sister was all of 6 years जब हम निकले थे. उसकी जो memories हैं कश्मीर की वो सारी borrowed है. All the memories are borrowed. So he just said, no, I don't want to go. और हमारा घर हमने सुना था, it was burned down. हमारा घर है ही नहीं, था ही नहीं. but in your hearts of hearts, you still want to just have a glimpse. Thoda hai, kuch bhi hai. So, but he refused. He just didn't want to go. He told the driver. He said, "Na magas, don't take that turn." We used to live in Ranawari. He said, "No, don't take that turn. I don't know how to translate that. Like I'm feeling really full. I don't want to go." But he was this man of pride. He wouldn't ever say anything. He just said that much. We respected that and we came back. But my sister had never seen home. That urge still kept on growing and growing. And then in between, a lot happened. My dad passed away. And but his promise to his daughter, he told her that I will take you. Someday I'll take you. But he couldn't do that. Then I took her just to, that we just walked from one point, and I showed her the house. She had a couple of times tried to look for it on her own. She couldn't find it. Then then I took her, because it was a promise, unspoken promise to my father, telling him that I'll take her to her land, to her home. जब मैं वहां पहुंची, I wasn't sure what to make of that journey. जब हम चलने लग गए, तो I was just so full. It was just, I think, too many things coming in your mind. But the minute I reached the site, because घर नहीं है, घर जल गया है, सिर्फ site है. That is Fras. Fras is the popular trees. Yeah, popular trees right in front of us. And हम लोग मोहर के पास रहते थे. मतलब just on the bank of a water canal, which we call Moher in Kashmiri. That Moher is now become a trickle of like garbage, whatever. But the minute I reached on the site, the wind started blowing, and I don't know whether I can explain that. The sound of the chiming sound of the leaves, fraskuleles gasan havasman, that there was that sound, and that made me understand that I'm home. And that was the seed of my journey. That was the trigger of my journey of research. I knew that people ask me, you could have written a book of your experiences. Why take this arduous journey? But I think I wanted to take this journey because I wanted to know more about my own core, more about my place, my people, and through an arduous journey, because I think it doesn't allow you to take a moment to rest. It's always lurking. And I wanted that lurking sensation all the time, because I never want to lie still on this. I know it's a little, but I never wanted to lie, make it shallow, just calming waters. The calming water, it has a force, and as long as I can do it, I wanted to take this journey. So that was the beginning point. The seed of my journey started from there, and it's been 2 years now. A lot to do still, but I've begun to understand my place, my people, and not from just one lens, because at least the research journey gave me multiple lenses to understand this large phenomenon, and so multidimensional loss we have. It is not just loss of the bricks and walls, right? It's a loss of culture. It's everything is scattered. हम लोग इस चीज को कैसे बांधने की कोशिश कर सकें is at least in some way, if I can contribute to it's reverence to my own land, to my motherland, in some way, to the land of Sharda, to where we belong. And I think we because if I forget, my children will forget, and if my children forget, their children will forget. And we have already gone through those 3 generations. We've lost 2 generations already, and I've seen that. And assimilation of culture is already, it has happened, and it will happen. There's nothing wrong about it. But if we forget, we will we will
Lose.
lose even more. So those have been the motivations and those have been the triggers to my journey.
Thank you, Urvashi. We wish you
Thank,
all the success
thank
and
you.
whatever support we can. And thank you for your scholarship and for your words today. Really appreciate.
Thank
Uh,
you. Thank you so much.
Thank you. We now have our friends from New Zealand who have taken the time to join us. Thank you. And I would like to welcome Virji Kar from New Zealand to express his thoughts, please.
Namaskar. Can you hear me, please?
Yes, sure, we can.
Okay. Which was Ramut never, because there's a big gathering here. We are to keep this in a much calmer way. Otherwise, I'll take you around where people are sitting and joining you guys. Firstly, my big appreciation are all Auckland team basically appreciates what you people are doing.
Thank you.
मैचेस तरह चीज बनी वो है कि 19 January 1990 was the culmination of what happened to us. Since then, we are only winning. You have to congratulate yourselves that since then, our community is, this is a big battle. Like if you see 2 दिन के बाद राम जन्मभूमि में शिलान्यास हो रहा है या whatever there is that प्राण प्रतिष्ठा हो रही है. You know this is happening because of us. You know it is because us. For last 35 years we have been going from place to place telling the story और एक सोए हुए इंसान को जगा रहे हैं. मुझे हिंदू से नहीं ये है, ये एक हिंदुस्तानी जो पिछले hundreds of years से just because of being a civilized person was overcome by the brutal force of barbarians. उसकी वजह से अगर मेरे को civilized होने की एक सजा मिली तो मैं भुगत रहा था. लेकिन मैंने as a कश्मीरी पंडित मेरे पर दायित्व बनता है. मेरा नाम ही इसीलिए पंडित है क्योंकि मेरा काम है सबको जागृत करना. ये मैं ब्राह्मण नहीं हूं इसलिए मैं पंडित हूं. मैं पंडित इसलिए हूं क्योंकि पंड प्लस इट मीन्स मैं एक विद्या को हासिल करने के लिए बाकी सब कुछ छोड़ सकता हूं. आप लोग में चाहे मोदी जी आए चाहे ओवरऑल एक हिंदू जागृत हुआ है उसमें आपका रोल बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है. मैं जम्मू में ट्रेन में बैठता था. ट्रेन में मेरे साथ पैसेंजर्स होते थे. पैसेंजर्स कहते थे कि भाई साहब थोड़ा सा ऐसे सड़क के ऐसे बैठेंगे. मैं कह रहा नहीं यहाँ तो आप तकलीफ है. इतने में वो कहता भाई साहब आप कहाँ से हो. आई विल टेल हिम आई एम फ्रॉम कश्मीर. ही विल से वहाँ क्या हाल है और मेरा टेप ऑन हो जाता था. मैं बंद गोभी खरीदने जाता था मार्केट में. बंद गोभी वाला कहता था ताजा सब्जी है भाई साहब ले लो. मैं कह रहा नहीं मेरे कश्मीर जैसी सब्जी कहाँ है. अच्छा आप कश्मीर से हो. तो सब्जी वाले को मैं ठेक देता था पूरी कहानी अपनी कि मेरे साथ क्या हुआ क्या नहीं हुआ. We never needed to be organized. We all 300 to 500,000 of us, we were organized because we knew the message. We were pundits. You should be proud of yourself. And while we remember the genocidal activity that has happened on us, we need to as well celebrate the way we have responded to it. हमारा वक्त आ रहा है. मैं ऋषि जी की बात सुन रहा था. दुखदायक है लेकिन मैं मेरे भाइयों मेरी बहनों बच्चियों जो भी हमारे माता पिता सबको मेरा एक रिक्वेस्ट है. ये तो हमारा टाइम आ रहा है अब. ब्रूट फोर्सेस आर बीइंग चैलेंज्ड. मुझे बंदूक उठाने की जरूरत नहीं थी. मेरे पास 10 लाख हिंदुस्तानी फौजी थे. वो मेरे फौजी हैं. वो वहां इसलिए लड़ रहे हैं क्योंकि मैंने उनको उत्साहित किया प्रोत्साहित किया. दैट इज व्हाट आज मोदी हमारे लिए लड़ रहे हैं. मोदी जी आदरणीय मोदी जी. बट मेरा हिस्सा है उनको वहां तक पहुंचाने के लिए. So not taking too much of your time, I'll just show you around where our gathering is, contributing to what you people are doing. But एक रिक्वेस्ट है, जहां भी जिस तरह से भी एज ए कश्मीरी पंडित, हमारे में बहुत सारे साथी हैं जो थोड़े से मुश्किल में हैं, अपनी तरफ मदद करने की. It can be through writing, it can be through English. So sorry, it will be a bit off. I'll mute myself and show you around so that
Viji, probably it's frozen screen.
okay, they all flap for you guys. For what you have been doing. Thank you. Good luck, and you people doing a fantastic job. Thank you very much, and please continue.
Thank you, Viji. Thank you for your support and kind words. Do acknowledge and agree with most of the things you have said, Viji. We are aligned, and hopefully we will keep collaborating in future on such and other events as well. Thank you for your time, everyone. We'll just move on to the.
And I take your leave because हमारे थोड़ा time आगे निकल गया है. मैं आज्ञा चाहता हूँ और आप लोगों को सबको बधाई देता हूँ और हम भूलेंगे नहीं. We will never forget it. Thank you very much. Namaskar.
Namaskar.
And hats off to you guys.
Thank you for the support. Thank you. And to our community, back to our community, we'll never forget. We heard views from different, from other community members, and the message is: while we embrace peace, we never ever lose sight of history. History is a steadfast teacher. And Virji is right. Our time is coming. Let us be optimistic. Things are happening. Those things which we never thought would happen are happening. So our time is coming. So with that, we thank you for taking the time to join us. And we will be meeting and remembering this day from now onwards. We'll never forget. Thank you all. Namaskar.
Thank you. Namaskar.
Namaskar.
Namaskar.